do some more later on, but just doing some laundry and stuff.
Right. Keegan, how's school going?
It's all right. Classes are they're just starting to kind of get to the fucking tough part. So,
Have
but
you been to school before like that in that college format? Did you try or no?
so like I in 2013 I started college and I like dropped out and then joined the Navy, and then so I did a semester last year. But you know it's the same stuff. This math class is fucking tough.
Dude, what math is it? 102, 103, 104?
Dude, it's just intermediate algebra. It's just I
Okay,
haven't
so
done
070,
football,
099?
something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, dude. So that was the thing. I had to take like extra classes
Hmm.
when I first started because I was behind the eight ball because I was so bad at math. I started at like 070, which is like the lowest one. But to my credit, I busted my ass. I went from passing 070 and I've passed all the way up to like 103 first time on every single one. Absolutely ridiculous. I put so much work into it. Shit's trash.
Yeah. I used to be all right at math, and then like now I'm trying to do it fucking like 8 years later, and so it's just like all this. It's like we're going over graphing and shit right now, and it's not how I remembered it.
Right. Dude, wait till you take a statistics class. I've taken three statistics classes for psych, and I took the one that's like it's like absolutely brutal where you have to learn how to do like so when you, say if you ever did research, there's programs that'll run you through how to do your research like it's like OSPS or some shit. And basically all you got to do is collect your data and input it into the system, and it calculates everything for you, and a printout will come out, and you could see if your results are significant or not, whatever. But you have to learn how to actually do research. In the event, you have to do it by hand. So you got to know math, and then you got to know how to do all the formulas for research, like two-way and one-way, ANOVAs and ANCOVAs. It's a fucking bitch.
Fuck that.
So
That's another math, and then that right now isn't bad. And I think she said she teaches statistics, so I don't know.
yeah, I had, dude, my first regular statistics class. The teacher, from an actual teaching standpoint, literally, literally like the worst teacher I have ever had, ever. She was like, would call in all the time, show up not prepared. She was just like scatterbrained and like, she was dumb. Like, I mean, like, try to be like an asshole, but she was just bad. And we all wrote letters to like the dean and the people of psych thing going, this is what happened in our class all year. Our grades are suffering because of it, even though like I passed the class like a 79 or some shit. I'm like, this is what's going on. And so they like did a hyper curve and like bumped all our grades up and shit. I was like, Jesus Lord. We're live now, by the way. But yeah, it was brutal. So like, I hope. How long do you have to go for your degree?
Um, I think it's just a basic 4 year. So, but I have to do all my general like the general studies classes uh now. So I'm getting like I don't know. I think the athletic training program is 4 years with like a chance, like if I want to be like successful and like do it like for like on the professional level or the college level, it would I would have to get at least my master's.
Right. Oh, hey, you got nothing but time.
Yeah.
You're only what, 26, 27, right?
Yeah, I'm 26.
Okay, yeah, dude, you have more than enough time. Yeah, I didn't start going back to college till I was yeah, I applied for college when I was 25, started when I was turning 26. But what's cool is my current job will pay part of my tuition while I go to school to finish my degree, or they offer tuition reimbursement through the state, which are probably going to do that because they can reimburse up to 50% of the tuition you accrue. That's worth more than being like, hey, pay for 2 of my classes 2 semesters. It's like, hey, liquidate half my schooling debt, which isn't a lot, but I got deductions because of my grades, and I got pretty good for probably the first 2 years. I got total coverage from, what is it, financial aid, and then like half coverage, and then I took out some loans to help pay for the fact that I was working part-time. So it cost me like a fourth of what it costs most people to get their bachelor's. So, but I'm sure it'll be fine. This is Keepin' the G-Roll podcast. We're back with the boys from last week. A lot of predictions blew up. We had some really good games and a boring-ass game up in fucking Lambeau. 2 boring-ass fucking teams out there, dude. Rodgers didn't come through. Chad, what's shaking?
Just relaxing at the house, much as I can. Just thinking, I wish the Bills were playing this weekend instead of the Chiefs.
Yeah, that game was wild. Anton, what's up?
Nothing, just hanging out, watching a lot of the games, eating the Buster ass.
Yeah, dude.
Having fun.
Dude, whatever. Dude, you and Kegan looking slick. You get a fresh shave up down there, dome time?
Well, it's what happens when you're wolfing it out and then you actually trim it up.
You might want to keep that hair on your head right about now and fucking deliver the mail at 0 degrees.
Well, if you want patches of 0 on my
And Kegan, how's your day going, dude? Fresh cut over there, looking slick.
Yep, got finally parted waves with the locks.
Dude, you were looking like an extra out of the fucking Warriors over there, dude. You looking like a turbo ace over there. Throw a fucking cut on you, kid.
We had some good news though. Quinn is staying with the Cowboys as
there you go. Okay. Yeah, we gotta talk about that. A couple coaches got hired. A bunch of coaches got fired. So it's pretty wild what's been going on. There's Giants got a new GM. Look out. The old assistant GM for the Bills, actually.
Vikings got a new GM.
Yeah, I did see that. What's his name?
I don't know.
You don't know?
From the Browns,
I think what's crazy is Sean Payton left.
Yeah, but I already know what's going to happen with that. Listen, I thought that before they even started saying that shit. That shit. He's going to old Dallas.
He's going to take a break this year. Mike McCarthy's going to probably fuck up some shit, and then Sean Payton's going to step in. That's what I'm going to put it in writing somewhere. Someone write it down. This time here we'll be prepping for Sean Payton in the door in the building.
I think New Orleans is a big spot for a head coach right now. I mean, they got the running back. He's not bad. The defense isn't horrible. I don't know.
Yeah, what's going on with this? Yeah, Jameis looks like he's coming back from that injury, but
let's talk about that before we dive into the games from over the weekend. We'll go around. What coaching jobs? Name like the 3 coaching jobs that you would want out of all these vacancies, and you can pick ones that are already picked up. The ones that were vacant heading into the offseason until just the other day. Chad, what 3 jobs would you take if you were a coach that are open?
I don't know. I guess
if you can't think of 3, it's okay.
Is it Denver's head coaching open or not?
Yeah.
That'd be one. I mean,
I think they might be picking up Nathaniel Haag, offensive coordinator.
Yeah.
Right, but still that
Packers, but still, it's still open job.
Yeah, and then maybe Miami, only because they have the defense, and if they have knowledge of how to use their 12,000 draft picks, you can definitely kill it down there.
Yeah.
And I don't know. Maybe, and then the Saints, because the Saints, like, I think they have a good, like, base that you can start off of. You're just kind of looking for making sure Winston can be the quarterback.
Anton, what do you think?
So I would definitely go with Miami because remember this is a team that almost got into the playoffs 3 out of 3 years under Flores. So um, the defense is good. I mean, really, you're seeing if you can get that offense working. That would be a really good hire. I think the personnel is there. I think it was kind of a weird firing. Um, maybe I'm gonna go for a stretch here because I think they're already at the bottom, and it looked like Mara was looking for. He even said it in his press conference. He was like, I don't know if I want to go any further or down any farther down the rabbit hole. So they're pretty far down. So really, if you got a coaching job, you're at least going to get a couple of years out of it. I actually think that the Giants, not necessarily personnel, but necessarily that you will have a couple years to do something.
Right.
Plus, you got a new GM. Uh, I think the same thing kind of with the Jags too. It's like you got a nice young quarterback, you got some picks, you're gonna get another high pick. You can move in a couple different directions. I think that if you show some consistency at coach, you're not gonna get fired. Obviously, Urban Meyer is definitely a train wreck. I would kind of go with those three teams because two of those teams are at the bottom.
You
going to
guys
get
are
a couple of
forgetting
years
about
to
a
get
big
it.
one that's vacant. As Kegan like rolls his head and shit.
Probably.
The Raiders?
No, I thought the Cowboys would get rid of Mike McCarthy. They haven't made that official yet?
No,
Not
no,
yet.
no.
Oh.
They're not. They haven't made no.
Actually, just saw something. Well, that they said he's sticking around.
Oh, okay, never mind. What about you, Kegan?
I'd probably go Miami. I like
Miami's a good one.
I like Waddle too.
Defensive pieces are there.
The offensive line is still there. The defense, some there. I'd probably go Vegas too. I think Vegas. And then probably back away. Their defenses are. They've got weapons out there. I think. Yeah.
It's funny. I honestly don't think there's like there's too bad of a situation right now. No matter where you go, there's pieces in each one. Like for example, Jacksonville's got one of the best young quarterbacks. The team's young. You can do stuff with that team. The team that I would be most intrigued in being the coach of is the Saints. The only problem is they're like in cap hell.
$74 million.
Now, whenever these guys talk about it, they talk about how they're like, apparently these contracts are easier to manipulate than they tell people. People are always like, if you actually know what goes on with these contracts, they could easily clear and get into the, what do they call it when you're in the finance, like the black or whatever. I don't fucking know what they call it. Like when you're making a profit, they're like, they're like the Saints, if they do make the right cuts and stuff, they could get up to $40 million in cap this offseason. So to me, they have a really young, good offensive line, except for they're probably going to lose Teron Armstead. But that team right now, if everyone's healthy, they're already competing without good quarterback play. Go get yourself a quarterback. You compete right away with that team. The other one is the Raiders, Oakland. They already have one of the best defenses in the league. Put some more weapons around Derek Carr, baby. He's dirty. And then, Miami. I would like to coach Justin Fields, though. I love the talent in Justin Fields. The Chicago one. You would probably have to move some of the older defensive players. Like, you could probably flip, and you got to know when to sell high. You probably could flip Khalil Mack for some draft capital. to a team that thinks that they're like one defensive player away from like getting over the hump. Probably flip Khalil Mack. They got some what's his name there? Who's getting old? Who's their D tackle that's a beast?
Oh yeah.
What the fuck's his name? He's like
Goldman?
32. No,
Not him.
that's one of them though. God damn it! He plays left end in their system, but he's a defensive tackle because they run a 3-4. Oh God, it's gonna bug me. I see his face in my head. Anton, you look buff over here, dude. What's happening? Oh fuck, I had to square up in this fucking thing, dude. Defend myself over here. What's
Did
happening,
Minnesota?
dude? Yeah, Minnesota fired their coach, right?
I think
Yeah,
that
Zimmer and GM.
That would be a really good job too.
So
There's
they,
so many teams that
picked
drop
up the
coaches.
they
we're,
picked
like,
up the
forgetting.
player personnel director for the Browns. He's got like a hyphenated. Forgot his name. He's all right. He's more of an analytical guy. So they're right now looking for a coach. They've already brought in a whole bunch. So a lot of coordinators, defensive and offensive coordinators. So we'll see what happens.
There's some good spots. Miami, Oakland, Minnesota. Who else are we talking about? The Saints. Those are 4 teams right there where a coach could step in, get the right quarterback, add a couple more pieces, do the be off the races. If you're Miami, all you need is to shore up your offensive line. Whether you like to believe in it or not, the verdict is still out. I need to see another season. But if you look at the advanced analytics, especially like PFF, Tua actually wasn't bad this year. Like, he was efficient. I just don't think that offensive line's good enough and that team's explosive enough. I also think his arm's a little limited. He's super accurate, but in terms of explosive plays, you're going to have to cultivate an offense that's not centered around driving the ball down the field, explosive plays, kind of like that Shanahan shit. Like, yeah, they get explosive plays every now and then, but the offense isn't designed for that. They use their system to move the ball all over the different areas of the field and run the ball, quick passes, and then open up the middle of the field with that play action shit.
I thought I saw some Seattle interview too.
Oh, yeah, but Pete Carroll hasn't been fired yet, though, right?
Yes.
Yeah. But I saw one of the Cowboys defensive.
They're because they let go of Ken Norton Jr. as their defensive coordinator, so they are on the lookout for.
Kegan, do you have something playing in the background? For some reason, when he talks, it kind of breaks up a little bit, like it stutters. I don't know if he's.
Why wasn't everyone's first pick the Giants?
Maybe there was sound in the background for him. Say that, Chad?
I said, why wasn't everyone's first pick the Giants? They got Saquon up there.
Oh, yeah, right, yeah. We're going to play Saquon at quarterback. I mean,
he probably might be better than Daniel Jones.
So they talked about how they're going to keep Daniel Jones, which I agree with that. When you look at the quarterbacks that are coming out, and you look at what Daniel Jones has shown us he can do, I feel like you got to give Daniel Jones one more year. And, like, I hate using this excuse because every team gets injured and has injuries. If it's not one of our favorite teams having injuries, it's someone else's favorite team having injuries. So, like, you know, Giants fans can sit around and be like, oh, we're the most injured team, and we started 30,482 and a half different players during the regular season and all this other stuff. It's like, yeah, that shit happens. Washington has had a lot of really good teams on paper the past 15 years, but they're injured all the time. When they had Kirk Cousins, they were really good, but they had injuries. Like, so we just gonna sit around and bitch about injuries all the time.
No, but why I picked them was because they also have 2 high draft.
That's true too. There's talent.
So, yeah. I mean, if you're willing to stick with Daniel Jones, you got a running back. You have to build the offensive line. You got to patch up the defense a little bit. But the right person, I'm not saying it's a fix now, get wins now. But a couple years down the road, this team does not look bad if you're willing to stick with some of the pieces and, again, get a really good draft this year. I mean, those are high picks. I mean, those are coveted high picks. They can do a lot of things.
I'm still scratching my head over the Kenny Galladay pick. The pickup. I really am, because, like, there was blue chip offensive line talent in free agency, and all of Adam, but somehow Adam has it in his head that there's like some excuses to why they didn't get any of them. I can tell you why they didn't get any of them, because ain't none of them wanted to play there. Do you really think Joe Tooney, or who's the dude from who left? Who was he left the? He left the Green Bay. He's the best center in the league. He left Green Bay to go play with fucking the Chargers. When you have Lindsey is his last name. When you have all this offensive line talent, you don't think they're going to want to go play with the more established teams that have potential and have young, good quarterbacks. So what ended up happening with that is they didn't get any of these offensive linemen, which was their weakness. Rumor was, from all the important sources, Kenny Galladay was only getting 1 year offers, like prove-it offers. All the 5 offers he got, including the Bengals, we offered him a 1-year deal, turned them all down. Let's be real. The only reason why he went there is because he got a big-ass contract. You paid $20 million for a dude who had 400 yards this year. Dude, and then people, Giants fans, I got a different buddy that's not Adam, who's a Giants fan, who's like, well, look who's throwing the ball, this, that. Dude, we've seen dudes get paid that much that can look. What is Deandre Hopkins? He didn't have an excuse the whole time he was in the fucking Houston before he got Deshaun Watson. He was still scraping the whole entire league. I mean, you can't pay a dude $20 million and have him come out and catch 30 balls for 400 yards and fucking like a touchdown. It's like inexcusable. And then Adam goes, well, he stretches the field. You don't pay $20 million on a dude that stretches the field. He's not Tyreek Hill. Tyreek Hill stretches the field and then does absolutely everything else you could do with the wide receiver position. The only thing he's not asked to do is block motherfuckers. He could probably do that too. That's what you paid $20 million for.
The optics were really bad from the GM standpoint because
that's why
they wanted to put weapons supposedly around Daniel Jones and give Daniel Jones a real fighting chance. But you start with the offensive line. You don't start with wide receivers on the outside. They can try to win matchups on the outside, but if you can't keep your quarterback standing up, and again, they're doing him a disservice. Daniel Jones has continuously lost and coughed up the football. He's not very secure when it comes to that. That's not his strong point. Build the offensive line around him. Get him so he can stand up, make the plays. When he has the opportunities, he actually makes good plays, but they decided to go get pay the money to go get weapons on the outside instead of making big pitches towards getting better offensive line. Now, what do you think they have to do in the draft? One of those picks, they have to go get an offensive line. So they're waiting a little bit too long to do the right thing, which is build from the offensive line out. You'll get weapons. And like you're saying, you could have got Galladay. Okay, maybe you give him a 2-year deal. Maybe they go a little stretch and give him a 2-year deal. But they decided to go and give him the big deal. And then, injuries happen. And that's what happened with him. But they just overpaid and they ended up in a really bad spot, and Daniel Jones sitting on the bench. So, again, sometimes when you kind of set up your tent with a certain quarterback and the way that you want to delegate the team, like I said before, even with my team, Minnesota, you're putting all your chips in with Kirk Cousins. Again, that can make and break if you're staying around. All of a sudden, maybe Kirk Cousins costs the GM, costs the coach's job. They decide to go with weapons on the outside. Guess what? In the end, cost Gettleman his job. And another weird reason, and they didn't give him enough time, cost Joe Judge his job too.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll see what happens because right now, it's not looking good for them right now. They're behind the 8 ball right now. I'm interested to see what they're going to do with that shit. But let's hop to the first game. And I guess
Before first game, hold on. I'm sorry. I want to know what Pittsburgh is going to do now.
Okay. Burn.
It seems like they're another team that just kept waiting and not jumping out or using some assets to go get a quarterback on the future. Like the quarterback retires, he was already cooked a little bit before this, and they still never addressed that problem.
Adam, they're going to go.
Say that again.
I said Adam's convinced they're going to go with Haskins. And
I mean, they might not have a fucking choice, but it's not going to go well.
Isn't it funny? In college, Ohio State went with Haskins, which allowed Joey Burrow to go to LSU. Which
Haskins
again,
50 tubs his final year in college too.
I'm not saying he wasn't a good college quarterback, and I'm not saying that was not the right pick. But now when we're talking on the professional level, who already is the better quarterback? It's funny.
What is it those kids do?
But they might not have a choice but to go with Haskins because are they going to make a move to go grab one of these quarterbacks and then throw them into the fire early? Again, another team with a tremendously poor offensive line. Is this what you want to start off a young quarterback with? I don't know. They've got some issues on the offensive side that think about it. They still made the playoffs.
I'm just trying to figure out what the Bills are going to do from here, dude. Just messing. Chad disappears as soon as I say it.
But they have a lot of issues offensively. Pittsburgh.
Yeah. I mean, we'll see. Again, there's only one team right now left in the playoffs that doesn't have a top shelf quarterback. You kind of got to have one unless you can scheme, and even then you're limited and you need certain things to happen a certain way. And it's funny. Like, I feel like Adam should just fucking change his team already. He sucked off so many other teams this year that he's got his pom-poms out for and shit. Like, just be a Niners fan. Be a Niners fan already, because if the Niners go to the Super Bowl and win that shit, he's gonna be like, I told you so. You gotta run the football, and I'm gonna be like, okay, just fucking change governments, dude. Just go to the Niners. This dude, because there's nothing to write home about. There ain't nothing to write home about over New Jersey. That's right. I said it. New Jersey. That's where the stadium is.
He's gonna sue him now.
I don't know. They need to hire him. Could you imagine him getting interviewed and shit? I want just to draft running backs first 2 picks.
Here's the problem here. All right.
This is how this works.
Have a supplemental draft, and then he gets the honey badger.
Yeah, he drafts Aaron Donald and plays him a running back. Donald's playing both sides of the ball. This is how this is done.
You got your first pick is best player on the board with honey badger.
He might not play this weekend. That'll be huge, depending on who you ask.
You can thank Josh Allen for that. He ran over 2 people.
Yeah, Josh Allen runs over everyone. Listen. They can say, they can say what they want. I don't know if I've ever seen a player quite like Josh Allen.
He's fun.
Yeah, and all my time watching football, so I actually was talking to this with someone. He reminds me of Cam, but a better thrower, and didn't get injured. Remember when Cam had his 3 really good seasons in the middle? He won the MVP there. It's similar to that. But he doesn't get injured. He makes better plays. He's definitely more. It's just the difference between skill in terms of everything passing the ball. It's 2 totally different stratospheres. But I think the way they both approached playing was similar. But yeah, Cam, and it goes to show you it's rough out there no matter how big you are. Cam 6'6", 255, injured all the time running through dudes. But yeah, Josh Allen, that shit's fun to watch. He's rumbling and stumbling and bumbling, fucking hand on the ground, stiff arming dudes and shit. It's fucking funny. It's like rugby out there.
Me personally, I like the. Remember when he was early on and they got into the playoffs and he started making really weird plays in the playoffs? And you're like,
inexperienced. What? He got to the playoffs quick. I mean, let's be real here.
Right.
I mean, ain't
So
no Joey Burrs. We'll get to that later,
so
dude. Ice his
took a. I
veins,
mean,
dude.
obviously in his career so far, took a huge leap. Stopped, making bad turnover plays, making weird plays, and actually has enough confidence to go take the team, go out and score, and make really solid plays. And then also, offensively, they creatively doesn't run all the time, which is smart, but pick and choose wisely and gets to times where he trucking over people. But his evolution and again making the playoffs and helping to make an evolution in the playoffs, you don't see those weird plays anymore, and you actually see very confident throws. I mean, even at the end of this game, uh, uh, even though it only took the Chiefs 13 seconds to get in field goal range, but they went and grabbed the ball and scored really quick. That dart that he throws to Davis when he makes that in cut is a la, we're talking, a la Joe Flacco when he hits, what's his name, in the end zone. Very Joe Flacco-esque. Gets a run in the playoffs, making solid plays, looking like the best, not just quarterback, but the best player on the field.
Yeah, he definitely was the best player on the football field. I mean, I love
Um,
Pat Mahomes, but
but we gotta be honest. 13 seconds to get them in the field goal range.
that's why you got to control the clock. You got to control the clock, run the football. Dude, listen. That whole controlling the clock thing only works if you have a lead. So for example, you mean to tell me even if you slow the game down and you win possession, right? Or the possession battle in terms of time spent with the ball? You mean to tell me just because you suck up more clock than your opponent, you're cool with still giving Patrick Mahomes the ball 6 times, or Josh Allen the ball, or Aaron Rodgers the ball 6 times as opposed to 10 times? You really don't think that they're a threat to fucking score at any given moment? You think your defense can literally stop them all those times? And guess what? That relies on you to score points too. If you can't score points yourself, you don't got a shot if you can't score points yourself. You really don't. In order to play that whole suck the clock up thing, you got to be able to score points too, and you got to be able to get stops.
But they were smart. Get the ball to the playmaker. To the play. You see Tyreek when he just spits out to the outside and he's burning everyone and gets an extra 20, 25 yards. I mean, that's what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to get the ball to the playmakers. They have a lot of playmakers over there with speed. That's all you got to do. Get them the ball.
And McCole Hardman's not that great, but you get the ball in McCole Hardman's hand in space. That dude's legitimate, like sub 4.3. Like he's like a 4.3 flat guy. Cole Hardman gets out in space. He starts boot scooting, boogieing around, dude. Byron Pringle, he can run and catch. Like they got some.
But then they had an extra little secret weapon. They give it to McKinnon. He's running, passing the ball, running over people too. So they just keep adding weapons. But the point is to get the ball to the playmakers, and that's what they did.
There was a couple coaches that started understanding this earlier, but they were doing it with running backs, right? Like. Remember when the Saints drafted Alvin Kamara? They line him up all over the place. They can do all kinds of shit with him. Same thing with Christian McCaffrey. But they're starting to realize you could do it with wide receivers too. Look at Deebo Samuel. We're starting to see more plays where Jamar Chase is getting the ball in the backfield.
But Andy Reid was doing this
with hands.
Remember, Andy Reid was doing this
Ryan
with
Westbrook.
Running backs. Ryan Westbrook, Deuce Staley, getting them all in different little places and making more of the pass game involved with kind of scat or different type of running backs.
That's like my Oklahoma City Lancers team that I relocated and made on here. Just get the ball in Kegan's hands, dude.
So I mean,
put him out on an island, let him go to work.
But smart scheming, get your playmakers in space, let them do a catch and run, maybe even contact. After the first hit, they get a little bit extra. but smart scheming on the Chiefs' part, getting the ball to the playmakers and let them, create some plays, and trying to remember to tell them, hey, if you need to get out of bounds, get out of bounds. But guess what? When you have burners like they do, they get around the field pretty fast.
So do you guys think that the overtime rule should be changed, though?
Oh, well, yeah, let's address that, too, now that we're talking about this game.
Also, I'll say one thing before the overtime thing. So that 13 seconds, as soon as I hit that, as soon as I hit that, and I was watching it with my brother, I go, yeah, but they have 3 timeouts. They could have made 4 throws if they did really quick and got whatever so many yards and just timed out, throw another one, timeout. They had 13 seconds. Usually when you get down to the end of the game, you don't have 3 timeouts left. We didn't make them use timeout.
The clock well, bro.
They had control of the clock. They didn't have to use timeouts at that point. They wanted to burn as much, so Josh Allen didn't have as much time. That's why every team had 3 timeouts towards the end. You know what I mean? It's I don't know. But
I mean, I kept screaming in a sense at the TV saying,
dude, we were freaking out.
Okay, they got to make quick. They got to make quick. They got to get out the breaks and make quick throws. But the one thing that I realized is again, they have playmakers that can get downfield real fast. Whether you go to Kelsey, whether you go with Tyreek Hill, those guys can make up so much space downfield, and that's what he did. He turned around and he hits Kelsey, and it's like, okay, there's just 4 seconds right there. Timeout, he's down. But that's sort of what you need. I was like, he's got to make a quick play. He can't hold on to the ball or try to go to the end zone. But that's the plays that they drew up were quick plays, but quick, chunky plays. But you got to have playmakers to go get them.
And that team was gassed. That defense, both defenses were gassed. To see how many points were scored in the last 2 minutes?
It did kind of come to the fact is on both teams, whoever last had the ball was gonna
win the game.
Get something. Yeah,
every team
win the game.
If they're scoring that many points in the last 2 minutes of the game, whoever got that coin flip was gonna win.
Yeah, because Davis was shredded. Davis was shredding. Yeah, they went to Davis and they were shredding him. Even the Chiefs defense was gassed. They were getting shredded. Also, so it wasn't as if it was just the last team that had enough time to make a couple plays was probably going to get an opportunity to win that game.
Yeah, now Burrows just needs to go there and beat friggin' Mahomes, so I don't have to hear his name in the broadcast 1,000 times.
When the playmakers are too dynamic and the quarterbacks are too good, it's just basically who can make less mistakes. It's really what it is. Who can make less mistakes?
And they took away Diggs and still found ways to get touchdowns.
Well, Gabriel Davis out here, what do you have?
Davis was like a superstar out here.
These games were awesome except for that shitty Packers fucking Niners game.
Dude, I was watching the Bills game, though.
Oh, sorry, Chad, go.
The only thing that upset me about that Bills game that much was the fact that the broadcasters were just on Mahomes' dick the whole game. Josh Allen make a great throw,
they both played great.
That's good throw. And then Mahomes that's what makes Mahomes. He can make throws
down this weekend, boys. I got that revenge on tap for you, cuz that shit. Mahomes going down this weekend, kid.
I hope. You forget, that's the only thing I hate about games like that is watching games with Mahomes in them. Everything's about Mahomes the whole game. It doesn't matter what's going on. I know, but it's I have Josh Allen on my team. He makes amazing plays all the time, and they're like, that's a good play. That's a play only Josh Allen can make. And then it's Mahomes that's what makes Mahomes the best player in the league. And it's Josh Allen had to play just like that 2 seconds ago. Come on, bro.
Closing out this game, since the Chiefs, we know what we got with the Chiefs, and they're going on to the conference championship. Where do you think Buffalo goes from here? Do you think it's just add some more pieces, slight pieces, shore some things up, and fine tune what they have? Because it's a Super Bowl contending team right now. Like that game could have gone either way last night, and we'd be talking about Buffalo. Oh, we'd have been talking about a championship game over at Buffalo. It'd have all had to go to. So, like, do you think it's just about fine tuning them up and picking it up and hitting it hard next year?
Yeah, I think it's just adding speed to our defense. I think there's gonna be a little bit of changeover with the guard, kind of. Like Jerry Hughes was good in that game,
Yeah,
and same thing with like a couple of pieces. But there was a couple of times where they were just aggressively either over pursuing or not being able to tackle Mahomes because the pressure was there like the whole game, but they just weren't getting to him. They were letting him leak out and leave, or they were just grabbing his legs and just not tackling. And it just kind of, I'm not saying it's age related, but I think with a little bit more speed to it, and I don't know. I think that would be needed in the defense because we had no energy at the end of the game, and that's what happens when you cover Tyreek Hill and Pringle and all them fast dudes like running 4.3s, But I mean, if we had better speed, I don't know, better younger speed. I guess we have good young defensive ends, but I think we're gonna just elevate them and then pick up some new ones as well.
What do you think, Kegan?
I think they kind of have to build their team now to beat Mahomes, if that makes sense. They have to build their team to beat the Chiefs. So they need speed on that defense because someone's going to have to keep up with Tyreek. And they need a big linebacker or not necessarily nickel corner, but someone who can cover Kelsey. And I think because we're going to be seeing a lot more of that matchup in years to come. It's not the last game that we're going to see with Mahomes and Allen. So I think it'll be, I don't know. They're almost there. I think that game, like what y'all were saying, the last was going to win that game. So I think they're right there.
Yeah, and I think when there's like this, 50-50 chance where it comes down to whoever has the ball last. We can talk about clock management all we want, but it just really comes down. Honestly, it comes down to who makes less mistakes, turnovers, and I don't remember if either of them threw an interception. Did they? Was there any turnovers?
No, neither did. No, if there's no turnovers.
I'm looking.
It was a very offensive game. That's why Josh Allen played basically a perfect game the first playoff game. In this game, he was nearly perfect. He had 7 incompletions the whole game.
Yeah, there was no turnovers. It's crazy, 36-42. I mean, what are you going to do about that? It's no one made mistakes. And in the shootout, I mean, one team came out on the other end and victor. That's all you can really say, honestly. What do you guys think about moving on to the next game? What do you guys think about – oh, God, we have to talk about it? Hold on a sec. What do you guys think about we're not there yet. Los Angeles and Tampa Bay. What do you guys think about that game? That game was wild. I thought that game was wild as fuck. I thought that game was just as wild as the Bills and the Chiefs game. Cooper Kupp just blowing the top off everybody at the end. What's that about? Adam probably had a stroke seeing a white dude run that fast.
Supposedly what I heard is that before, when the Rams had Jared Goff, Tampa Bay would run a zero blitz, or teams knew to run a zero blitz, which would shake up Jared Goff. So I guess you tried to run zero blitz on the wrong quarterback, and which ended up, because you have Odell on the other side, you have to match up with Cooper Kupp one-on-one also. Both wide receivers on a one-on-one matchup would cook the corner anyway. But someone like Matthew Stafford would recognize it and throw it up top.
Yeah.
Which he did. Cooper Kupp wins the matchup, which he'll probably do 9 out of 10 times, and then that's what you do. But supposedly, what I heard is Todd Bowles would run this against Jared Goff, knowing he would not make it. Jared Goff would not make it happen. He decided to run it against Matthew Stafford.
Does he know who he's playing with, dude? What did I say at the beginning of the year?
And they didn't have Odell Beckham before that either.
And that's a good point. Huge pickup, because now it's just not Cooper Kupp. Now you have an elite number one on the other side. You have to account for him. So it's going to be it's like, okay, zero blitz, but it's like, okay, we can't let Odell sneak out. So they thought they could get the Cooper Kupp matchup, and they got cooked by one of the best wide receivers in the league right now. So either way, they weren't going to get cooked. They just thought that the Rams offense with Matthew Stafford was just as stupid as
he ain't a threat
as Jared Goff running it out there to Cooper Kupp. But they end up getting cooked at the end.
Dude, that shit. What I tell everyone about Cooper Kupp too.
That's your boy.
I need to start. I need to start that draft guide. I'm gonna start a website. I'm gonna start doing my draft guide. 200 players.
Now, did you hear the new what they want to call him? His new nickname?
Oh God, what?
So they compare him to sort of Jerry Rice. So they're calling him White Rice.
That's so good, no. White Rice. And he's loose.
And he's loose.
That's fucking funny. Keeg, what do you think about this game? I thought that game was wild.
It was crazy.
I thought that game was nuts.
I wanted to talk about this because, he's always upset with Dallas throwing the ball too much. Brady threw it 54 times.
And almost won.
And he had to come back. But, I mean, that game was crazy. I don't know how Cooper Kupp just gets loose downfield. I don't know what he was doing. He hesitated for a second and just got
that flash of light.
And like you said, Cooper Kupp at the end of the game, or Matthew Stafford had said, "We run that play, but it does not work." And it was zero blitz that made that play work. They run it audible to it. It doesn't work because they just never get that matchup. Todd Bowles decided to dial it up, and they end up cooking themselves immediately with that play. Again, it's questionable why you would want a one-on-one matchup with Cooper Kupp. Why would you want a one-on-one matchup with Odell Beckham on the other side either? But huge pickup by the Rams to get Odell Beckham so that you can't like overload on Kupp's side. So I think just a bad play by Tampa Bay.
Stafford threw the ball 40 times, and they tried to run the ball. Cam Akers, he only averaged 2 yards a rush. They probably should have bailed on the run a while ago. 24 carries for 48 yards.
He looked in round one.
Yeah, he's healthy
for his leg injury. Looked fantastic. He came back so quick. So they tried, but it just didn't work out this week. But again, Tampa Bay is good at run defense.
And again, what ended up being one of the big determining factors in this game when you got two high-powered offenses that could sling the pill all over the place. 3-point margin, Tom threw an interception.
Mm-hmm.
That's one of the big determining factors in the game. And, Cam Akers fumbled the ball twice? I don't remember that. Why did I not remember that?
Oh, well, remember, Cam Akers fumbled the ball later in the game. That ended up giving it back. That allowed Tampa Bay to tie up the game. Because remember, in the beginning, this game was out of hand.
Yeah.
It was on back.
That allowed them to come back later in the
That's what it was.
quarter,
I was trying to think of why they started to come back, but, that's crazy.
So Cam Akers, possibly his fumble, could have cost this game.
That's crazy. Yeah, and I mean, you look defensively here. look at Levante David, man. Levante David, like, hasn't slowed down. Like, obviously not the athlete as he probably used to be because he's getting to his mid-30s now. But, man, 11 tackles, 7 solo tackles, 2 tackles for a loss. He's still just all over the place. Their front seven's nasty. Vita Vea and all those guys up front.
Vita Vea was all over the place. Yes,
Vita Vea in that game
was destroying in that game. And it was really
what's that?
Really one of the reasons why it didn't get out of hand because he was making plays and getting the Rams off the field. Allowed them later in the game when you got some of the turnovers, they were able to come back and make some plays.
Dude, what's the deal with Mike Evans, man? Mike Evans fucking over 1,000 yards every single year, dude.
It'll be interesting to see what if that Brady's last game, what the Bucs do.
Well, they're drafting a quarterback. You draft the right quarterback, you're right back in the mix.
Oh, well, they got Flash.
Brady's next game.
You got Flash.
You could always just trade for a vet. A little Russell Wilson to Tampa.
But you don't think Flash might be the answer for them?
Trask?
Or Trask.
I haven't seen enough of Trask to make an evaluation on him, but
Do you think this is Tom Brady's last year, though?
I don't know. He's talking like it, and he never talks like it.
I mean, it could be.
I don't know. There you go.
But he got that far, though.
You're not far away. You're not far away, Tom. You're going to roll over to Tampa and take that quarterback position, a little scat back option pass thing. You know what I'm saying? He wouldn't do it, though. He's a diehard Cowboys fan. I ain't playing for this crack squad. You wouldn't do it even if they wanted to sign you? No. Liar! Yeah, right. No. Like, here's a contract, kid. Come to the Bucs. You'd be like,
you're third string quarterback.
That's fucking funny. But yeah, that game was wild. And why are you doing middle style pressure blitzes in that situation anyways? I don't know. That makes no sense to me. Like, you should be in coverage.
They said one of
coverage.
Didn't right blitz or didn't know what he was supposed to do or something.
Oh, that's brutal. Not on the same page. It was a defensive breakdown. That's rough.
I just think that, like, it's just a poor concept on kind of thinking maybe something will work. Again, you're dealing with different players there. Also, I would not keep rolling out the same shit against, McVay there. He's going to – McVay is someone that, you know what I mean? He memorizes plays. He memorizes situational stuff. So I just find that to be very odd that you kind of want to go old school. We're just going to go zero blitz. And, again, they had the answer immediately. And, again, even I don't care who you are. If you can get one of your good receivers on a one-on-one matchup, you just toss it up.
Yeah, you're taking that.
You got to toss.
Jefferson, he's taking to that all day.
If you don't do that, it's failure to launch. You got to move on to another quarterback because that's the that's the position you want to put that quarterback in. You read it, you got to throw it. And then you're talking Cooper Kupp. You're not talking about just some regular run-of-the-mill, slot. You're talking about Cooper Kupp. You got to toss him up the ball, see what happens. I mean,
toss him the pill.
Yeah. He got it. Not only did he get it up there, it got right to him, but the corner was cooked. I mean, cooked.
So I need you guys to fill me in more on this 49ers Green Bay game because it's the game that I watched the least. Because I only watched bits and pieces of it, and then I watched the highlights. Obviously, you can't tell the scope of a game by watching the highlights. But we watched the Bengals game at Nate's, then watched the fights after. So I played it a little bit on my phone.
So I was watching it on my phone. I did the same thing. But the problem is I said it like the week before. Jimmy G is going to turn the football over. That's what he did. He did. It was schemed well from Shanahan. But still, offensively with Jimmy G, it's poor. He does that all the time. Poor execution, and he always makes a weird mistake. He always does it.
And
that's
why he doesn't throw the ball a lot in their system. Their system's specifically designed to make you. Obviously, they're really good at running ball, but that system is designed around getting their playmakers in space in the short area and running the ball with their tricky running scheme so they can attack the middle of the field by throwing the football. That's what that scheme does. And Jimmy G only gets so many throws because they want to attack the middle of the field with them, but he only threw the ball 19 times. You want to know what that is? It's because he threw a fucking interception. When in the game did he throw that pick? Was it early?
The assets they gave up to get Jimmy G to realize that really he's just an average quarterback. He's average. You got to be honest.
He's like C+, B- on his best day. Like when he doesn't turn the ball over, he's possibly B- because he's had some games where he's let it up. But a lot of it's a product of being in that scheme, quarterback friendly scheme.
Okay, but no arm talent. Throws very much to the middle of the field.
Which is fine.
Always, they got exactly always in critical games, you always know you can get a turnover off. You can always get a turnover. That's a guarantee. So if you're close or in that game, and again, that turnover, ultimately, they still won the game. But another bad turnover by him. He is the cause for the bad turnover. Not because it gets tipped up or whatever. No, he just makes a bad.
He makes some abhorrently egregious,
really bad.
I'm talking throws it to the defender. It's like, oh my god, what was going on there? But that's why it's not the fact that of course, cool. We have to sit here and accept the fact that they grinded out that shit win. And then what was the deal with Aaron Rodgers? So Aaron Rodgers out here still had almost 100 passer rating, right? 20 for 29, 225 yards, no touchdowns, no interceptions. And then I watched the highlights because that's all I could really watch. And from on his end, he was playing conservative. I know they were getting pressure on the outside on him and stuff like that, but dude, try to make some plays at least. Try to make some plays. Aaron Jones caught 12 balls. Aaron Jones caught 12 out of his 20 completions. That's how you know they were playing it conservative out of there. And, people like Adam said the same thing. Oh, once it snows, it goes out the window. It was barely fucking snowing there. I don't understand what the deal is. I don't understand what that was. I hope that wasn't the game plan to go in there.
One thing that I saw is once Dylan got a little nicked up, and they weren't doing their little power run game, which has actually been kind of a nice little thing for them. Dylan run downhill, and then mix in Jones and all that stuff. But it seemed like once Dylan got a little bit hurt, they just went to this kind of pass game thing and looked okay. They were still getting into Devontae Adams, but they weren't really getting much out of it in the end as far as getting points.
Now, Adam, what's next for Aaron Rodgers?
Just didn't really translate.
Packers beat themselves over the weekend. They weren't aggressive, throwing the ball down the field. Then the Mercedes Lewis fumble, which I'm pretty sure went to the other team. And then Jimmy G throwing an interception. They had ample opportunities to drive the ball. And all they need to do is fucking score one more touchdown. It's like, if you take enough drives down the field, man, you're going to get in position to score touchdowns. What do you think, Kegan? I just thought that, I don't know if it's all on Aaron Rodgers. He just played conservative. Every check down, he checked the ball down 10 to 15 times and then only threw to Devontae Adams. That's one thing I got to say. He doesn't have enough weapons on that team. It's cute for Allen Lazard to get 8 touchdowns in the regular season. When you get into the postseason, you're playing most of the best teams. Shit gets tighter. Teams start playing for real. You're playing against usually the best competition. And All his other players ain't got shit on the stat sheet. Where the fuck was Alan Lazard and fucking Mercedes Lewis, Cobb? Where the fuck were all these guys? Equinemius St. Brown.
Anyone else that he trusts. That's what it is. You have Aaron Jones, 9 receptions. I'm looking at it too. Aaron Jones, 9 receptions. Devontae Adams, 9 receptions. Lazard, 1, and Mercedes Lewis, 1.
And Lazard got that.
Lazard for 6
catch later. Lazard got that catch in the fourth quarter, later in that game.
Yeah,
so that wasn't even like he was like really even targeted in that game.
You were saying, Kegan?
That reception was only 6 yards. Like I don't know. Rodgers didn't. He wasn't throwing the ball downfield, and I think he did have a couple throws. Didn't he have at least one that his receiver dropped?
Not exactly sure. I only watched bits and pieces of the game.
Yeah, I didn't watch all of it.
Listen, if Joe Burrow can throw the ball down the field while getting sacked 1,000 times against every team, Aaron Rodgers should be able to throw the ball down the fucking football field.
Yeah.
At least make the attempt.
Well, that's like, I don't know. Aaron Rodgers, I think he's gonna end up somewhere else this 2022. I don't think he's gonna be back with the Packers.
Interesting.
If he's not with them, it's by his choice because there ain't no way they're going with Love.
Minnesota. Turncoat like Brett Favre. Let's go. Minnesota. Let's go.
We wish, but that ain't.
Yeah, that'd be dirty with those weapons over there, dude. They got another white boy up there in Minnesota that can do some things. You know what I'm saying?
Not what Adam.
Yeah, Adam told Anton one day. He goes, man, I'm looking at the roster right now, and God, you guys need weapons, man, and all this other stuff.
We don't have Cooks. We don't have fucking Thielen.
What?
You guys don't have no wide receivers up there.
Two of the best wide receivers in the league and one of the best running backs in the league. You guys need some weapons.
Jefferson you only get 2,000-yard receivers, 1,000-yard years in a row now, right?
Insane.
Yep.
Only, and they're like really high 1400s. Not a weapon.
I'd like to see Aaron Rodgers. Dude, if Aaron Rodgers was a real boss, Aaron Rodgers would just go down to Miami and just play for Miami. Because you know what? Miami, no state income tax. That's what I would do if I was Aaron Rodgers. I'd be like, Miami, give me a 3 or 4 year deal. I'll play till I'm 42. And you just hang out in Miami and just slang the pill down there, dude. Fuck it. Just say fuck it. Retire down there. That's what I do. That's my solution.
He can stay out of the East.
That's my solution to everything where, like, the scenario is, like, if you were an athlete, what would you do? It's always play for a Florida team because you give most of your money and you get to retire in Florida. Like I was saying to Adam, if I was an NBA player, I'd go play for Orlando Magic even though they fucking suck just to get the tax breaks. Just spend my whole career there. Kegan knows what I'm talking about.
No, what he has to do is wait till Tom leaves Tampa Bay and then goes to Tampa Bay.
Or that. Fuck yeah. Listen, I was telling them if I was Aaron Rodgers, I'd straight up dip for Miami and just play there for 3 or 4 years and make cash. And you have less, you get taxed less. There's better laws. You just hang out down there and slay the pill with the Dolphins. That's what I would do. I told them that's my go-to. Or like, because Adam and I were talking, I said if I was an NBA player, I'd just play for one of the Florida teams if I was good enough to get signed in the offseason. I'd be like, I'm only taking calls for the Florida teams, boys. That's where I'm going. Play for Miami or Orlando. Just make a shit ton of cash. Retire down there. I'd play for Orlando in a heartbeat. Fucking magic. That's got to be like the worst team name and logo ever.
Well, the resources are phenomenal down there in Orlando.
Oh, yeah.
It's basically Disney.
Yeah.
Oh, what's up, dude? Saw dude. Hi, Bubba.
Nice. Okay.
Hello, Chase. But yeah, so hi.
Tired.
But yeah, so I don't know. I felt like Green Bay beat themselves, man. When I look at what the limited amount of knowledge I have on the game, just like, God, it's so bad. And I don't know. So did Edwin like serve with you guys in the military or something? Is that one of Adam's buddies, or do you know him? Or
I don't know him. I think he just served with Adam.
Okay, because I didn't know he was a Niners fan. He barely talks in our chat. That shit's funny. I'm like, I randomly in our chat, I go, who the fuck? I go, who is Edwin's team? And he just writes, or someone just writes 49ers. I'm like, oh boy.
Yeah, I think him and Adam were stationed out there somewhere.
Gotcha.
And win a couple games. Yeah.
Gotcha. All right. You guys want to talk about it? Let's fucking talk about it. Let's talk about the soon-to-be Super Bowl champs. Let's talk about them. Chad, take on the Bengals game.
It was definitely, and I've never seen a team win with someone getting sacked 9 times. So I think the offensive line, like I was telling you before, I go, that offensive line has to start using some tight ends and some fullbacks to do something to help Burrow out back there, because they're
jackpot Joey. Joe Shiesty, let's go, dude.
Like, I don't know how they were letting him get hit that much after that without just saying, hey, scheme everyone. Let's just do like a 2 tight end fullback set and just whatever's out there, let's get out there. We got Mixon to run if we have to.
Dude, Burrow got sacked like 9 or 10 times. That kid is made of fucking stone. Obviously, he broke his fucking knee last year, but in terms of being able to take fucking hits, that kid's fucking granite. He got hit a couple times last week, and Nate was laughing at me. Every time he got hit, I'm like, is he okay? Is he okay? I'm like looking at the screen, like, Nate's like, he's all right, he's getting up. I'm like, Jesus Christ. What else you got, Chad?
I think you guys did pretty well with Henry. I mean, he still got his yards, but he's going to get those yards.
60 yards ain't shit. They were all saying the group chat he's going to run for fucking 200 and shit, dude. 5th best rushing defense in the league this year per PFF. Everyone can fucking suck it. What about DJ Reader just clotheslining Derrick Henry? Now, in Derrick Henry's defense, he wasn't ready to go.
No.
I seen a close-up where he's like huffing and puffing and shit. He wasn't in shape and ready to play, and it wouldn't have fucking mattered anyways. Logan Wilson was giving him the fucking Bronco Buster. Like, he wasn't ready to go. He still got in the end zone, though.
Yeah, I know. I was like, that's why I put that bet in. I'm like, I think that if they would have let him get that close in there again and had him, if they would have got that close towards the end zone and had a chance to do more touchdowns and everything, like the game I thought was going to happen, I think Henry would have had those 2 touchdowns, and I would have had my parlay on that crap.
Yo, listen to this, guys. Burrow was sacked 9 times for a grand total of lost 68 yards.
Oof.
His QBR was still 93. He went 28 of 37 with 1 interception, which that shit was fucking whatever. Whether you want to call it an interception or not, that shit was wild. Ticky-tack, but... And then how about my parlay bet where like I picked the Bengals defense to score first in my game, Randall Cobb to score first in his game, which he didn't even fucking catch a ball, Tyler Higbee to catch the first touchdown in his game, which he caught 4 passes for like 70 yards. Then
he was like 5 yards short of that
touchdown, right? If that would have all hit with the odds because of the Bengals fucking defensive one, $40 would have turned into $4.7 million. And you should have seen us when I told my buddy Nate the bet. Todd, Nate and I, first play of the game, Jesse Bates gets that interception. And we're like are the stars aligning, like freaking out. And what does he do? He sits down with it. I'm like, no. I'm like, what are you doing? Then we got a fumble recovery. I was like, oh my God, like totally teasing me. I'm like, what the fuck? If I would have won that, we'd have been partying. We would have flown down to Florida. Have Kegan show us all spots, dude. But yeah, so Tom, what do you think about the game? Well, you said you called a 15-point win. A little crazy out there. I mean, we only won by 3, but
so more of obviously a defensive battle, but the thing is that the defense was really good. I mean, this is a precursor. I'm kind of going to go to a precursor to the next game. I think the Titans can go out and go grab 9 sacks against the Bengals offensive line. So moving forward a little bit, I don't know if the Chiefs can do that. But the Titans, this was their type of game. And then they ultimately end up losing this type of game. But again, putting your money on more of a running conservative team instead of a team that will. Again, I've said 15 points because I just thought that the Bengals do more offensively to go out and go get the touchdowns instead of we're going to rely on Henry with a plate in his foot to go get us some points. I just thought that was kind of weird to me.
We would have ran away with that had we executed better at the end of our drives. We would get all the way down the field and stall out.
But the Titans, this is the game that they wanted. They wanted this type of game. Ultimately, they just lost the game. I think the game plan was the way they wanted it to. They just end up losing this game at the end. So nothing wrong with the Titans. It's just, okay, you got the game when you wanted. You ultimately weren't in the end to kick the field goal to win this game. And basically, if you put this on paper outside of not losing the game, you tell me as a team, if you get 9 sacks, you say before the game, yo, listen, you're going to go into this game, you're going to get 9 sacks. Tennessee is taking that game all day. That's what we want.
Maybe, but then again, you could have 9 sacks and not get only that many pressures. I'm starting to value sacks. Obviously, they got pressure the whole way across the board. I don't even know if it shows how much pressures or hurries. I probably have to go to PFF for that, but just saying.
But think about this. Jarek Thomas ended up getting 8 sacks against Seattle.
13 QB hits.
Right.
But they had 13 QB hits on us.
Jarek Thomas ended up setting the single game record for sacks. I think against Craig when and it was against Seattle when he was with the Chiefs. You know the Chiefs still ended up losing that game because of the last sack, which would have been sack number 9. He missed it. Craig ends up throwing a pass. I don't think it led to a touchdown, but ended up throwing a pass to close the game out. So not necessarily getting tons of sacks, even by a single player, is going to necessarily win you the game anyway. But if you go and tell a team they're going to get 9 sacks, I'm pretty sure they're almost guaranteed to think that they're going to win that game. They're like, oh, we'll take that game all day.
Right. They would have won it if there wasn't 3 interceptions on the other side.
Could have.
Right.
But then again, Tannehill played piss poor the whole time, so.
Mm-hmm. The only bright side was A.J. Brown, which he always eats up the middle anyways.
He's really good.
He takes down like nothing, unfortunately.
But with that said, that game is still a low-scoring, close game. Titans still had a chance in that game.
Yeah, Burrow threw an interception. He didn't have any touchdowns, but Jamar Chase and T. Higgins still tore this team up. I just felt like we didn't execute at the end of our drives. Kegan, what are your thoughts?
Well, that's the difference between, and that's why Joe Burrow's in the playoffs and Rodgers isn't. If you look at who Joe Burrow, he's getting the ball to everyone.
Yeah.
Jamar got 5.
Yep.
Higgins got 7. Usman 7. Mixon's got 6. The only person that didn't really get the ball was Boyd. And
And Boyd had 2 clutch catches too, though.
Yeah,
but think about it. The
His
real
were both first downs.
The X factor was what? Probably Mixon in this game.
X factor was a kicker. Yeah, that kicker was bomb.
Yeah, the kicker, and then probably Chase and Mixon, because Chase.
I think that's like
Chase had a handful of plays that got us in position to kick field goals too. So. But you could also say the X factor is Joe Burrow just fucking getting hit 1,000 times and just being like, fuck it, I'm still gonna hug it, chug it football and be aggressive, dude. I ain't gonna let it deter me from throwing the pill. You know? Well, extrapolate on what you're saying, Kegan.
No, I was just saying, Joe Burrow is passing the ball, he's spreading it out, and I think that's why they won the game. Tannehill, he didn't have his best game. The 3 interceptions ended up hurting him, and then your boy McPherson, ice in his veins. Him and Joey.
Yeah, I'm just happy our defense came and held up. That's what I was worried about the most going into this game, was our defense going to come out and play? And dude, we stepped up. And I'm so sick of the media. So sick of the media act like they know shit about football. And unless you're an actual football player, there's not many guys that I want to fucking hear in the media that have all these shitty opinions. What did I say all week? They're like, oh, Larry Ogunjobi's gone. He's their best run defender. He's not our best run defender. He's actually not a great run defender. DJ Reader and BJ Hill are our best interior run defenders in all aspects, whether you're looking at straight up stats or analytics. Whether you're looking at PFF, those are our 2 best guys, and they were on hand. And DJ Reader shut that shit down. All my guys stepped up. I would say the only place that our guys didn't step up was there was a couple big plays we fucking gave up to fucking Brown, and we got to face Tyreek Hill again next week. And Chidobe Awuzie, he was slotted as the best corner in the AFC last year. His production, he was the only dude with a coverage rate in the AFC at quarterback over an 85. It was 86 something. Chidobe would have had an interception if his back wasn't fucking turned to Brown. It's going to A.J. Brown, and he blankets A.J. Brown, and Brown still catches that shit. If Awuzie would have just turned around, the ball was literally right in front of him to catch. I just thought that was kind of a bang bang play, really, that could have gone either way, that touchdown. He was double covered. He still caught that shit. Because my corners weren't. And that ball, Tannehill doesn't have a lot of power. That ball hung in the air for 1,000 years. It's you guys can't get your heads around to see that shit coming. I mean, I'm not a NFL player, but I just thought that was crazy. If you go watch that play, literally Chidobe Awuzie could have been like this. Just turned around and caught that shit. And it whizzed right over his shoulder. I was like, you gotta be kidding me. But, yeah, I don't know. Crazy. One of the craziest weekends of football ever besides the Niners stinker. But, let's see.
The first 3 games coming down to a kicker in the last 4 seconds. That was, yeah.
Let's see. All right, guys, let's talk about it.
I think most of those games were all won by underdog.
Were they?
The road team, yeah.
Yeah, won by teams throwing the football. No one rushed for 100 yards this weekend. Just saying.
Well,
no one player did anyways. Only a couple teams rushed for 100 yards on the ground total, but... Or did they? Did all the teams hit 100 yards rush? I know 1 or 2 of them didn't, I thought. But no single running back rush. Yo, did you guys watch that video that I sent? Running backs don't matter, the group chat. I go, commence group chat breakdown or fucking something. That shit was funny. In the video, Darren watched it. In the video, the guy goes, let's look at the Panthers and the Giants, for example. He goes, both these teams fucking suck. Dude, it was so fucking funny. And Darren watched it, and he was dying when he said both these teams just fucking suck. It was fucking great. Well, listen, for Adam's sake, let's hope the Giants become a little more competitive. But then again, he can always fall back on it, Super Bowl or bust. So that's his new justification for his teams in the dumps. Well, yeah, so San Francisco versus the Los Angeles Rams. Are you guys buying into the narrative that San Francisco has Los Angeles' number? Or do you think it's going to be a different game this weekend? Chad?
I think Rams have it.
Why?
Defense.
Well, I mean,
Von Miller.
They got
Von Miller
the last 2 times.
I know Von Miller and Darnold are going to go off. And Garoppolo, I don't think he deals well with pressure. So
this will be the game Garoppolo just drops 600 yards and 4 tubs, and he's
like,
"Where's my
this is the game Garoppolo's going to throw like 4 picks."
One of the corners of the end zone is just a bunch of porn stars. They're like, they're all there for him.
So if I had an option to bet, I'd bet Garoppolo +2 interceptions.
Oh boy, Chad, the betting man over here.
And Ramsey's going to catch both of them. Ramsey's going to get both of them. Well, I don't know. I don't think he has enough people to throw to, and I think their defense is good enough to stop the run, so they're going to make him have to throw. I don't know. And especially how the Rams went up against the Tampa Bay defense and ran up the points so quick that quick. I think if they do that quick against the 49ers, there's no way Garoppolo is going to be able to get them back in without throwing multiple picks.
Tom?
I think the turnovers will be low coming from 49ers. But Shanahan likes to put opposing linebackers in the spin cycle. He likes to attack them. He likes to use it with Kittle. He likes to use, all his weapons, and he uses well. Deebo Samuel and all that. The thing is that I think Von Miller's a little bit, obviously, a lot better than a lot of rookie or early year linebackers. So I don't know if he's necessarily going to do that. And plus, Aaron Donald is such an X factor when it comes to you want to scheme up stuff, and he blows the offensive lineman away. He blows up your game plan. I do know San Francisco does have their number, and I'm also going with the fact is that I don't really even think that SoFi Field is actually a real home advantage. It doesn't seem like it is for the Rams. So I'm going to take away the home field advantage. I think it's a wash between these two teams. I'm also going to take away.
They got smacked. They lost by a field goal one game, and they got smacked by the Niners the other game.
So, but what I feel is that this is a playoff game, and again, Garoppolo makes a lot of turnovers. So I think he's going to try to do a job where he does not try to create turnovers in this game to try to play clean. But I think that's going to be to his disadvantage. And I think that the Rams are going to get a push from last game. And I think that they're
Turn the tide.
I also think there's Aaron Donald, and I also think that Ramsey can take away another option that they have that they do a lot of moving around and all this other stuff. But you're talking about Aaron Donald, you're talking about Von Miller, you're talking about Jalen Ramsey. These are smart, intelligent football players. And you might be able to fool one or two linebackers, but I don't know if you fool all of them. The Rams are loaded on defense. I think this game might be close, but I think it's just enough to get the Rams over the hump.
I think the real sticking point for the Rams is their linebacking core is not all that great in terms of their actual, off-ball linebackers. They don't tackle that well. They don't cover that well, and that's going to be a huge thing in this game is can their front seven wrap up all the running backs, all the wide receivers, Deebo Samuel, the guys they put in motion. Is Deebo Samuel playing, by the way? I know he was dinged up last game. Not exactly sure, but that's going to be crucial for this Rams team is actually fucking wrapping up and tackling people. I know people like Brandon Ayuk and shit, but
he's not on the injury report.
Yeah, so straight up, if in terms of secondary, the Rams have the guys ensure pass coverage to match up with them. Problem is, you're not playing a team that throws the ball conventionally. They use the run with the smoke and mirrors to attack the middle of the field. Ayuk's all right, but like if they're running the ball a lot with Deebo Samuel, you don't think Ayuk's could get taken out of the picture by Jalen Ramsey. He's the best corner in the league.
Also,
it's an interesting chess match with these two teams.
They also use Jalen Ramsey to cover tight ends. Also,
True.
They like to mix that around.
George Kittle,
because remember they were putting Ramsey on like when they play other really good tight ends, and they would do a lot of stuff, but then we're like, oh, Ramsey's covering him, and they would take away an option and limit offensive teams from going to someone like a tight end, which they like to do to open some things up. So they move Ramsey all over the place, and they kind of let him roam around and see what. And then once they see some opportunities, they end up putting Ramsey in spots where he can make plays or he can take stuff away, totally confuses the offense.
Kegan. Wait.
No, I'm done now.
Oh, Kegan?
No, I think it's going to be a game won by the defenses. If the Rams defense can slow up Deebo and Elijah Mitchell, Jimmy Garoppolo is not going to win the game throwing the ball. So if the Rams can stop that, they'll win. And if the Niners can somehow prevent Stafford from getting the ball to Kupp and to OBJ and to Higbee and all the weapons that Stafford has, I don't know. I think the Rams win this game in the end, but I think it's a really defensive game.
So you got the Rams. I don't know, dude. At this point, who the fuck knows, dude? I'm fascinated with the San Francisco team because honestly, on paper, this team really, on paper, in my opinion, doesn't match up to a lot of the teams that are here. I just think they're so well coached and the scheme is so hard to pin down when you're attacking them from a defensive standpoint that, they're just playing, they're optimizing this Kyle Shanahan scheme. Could you imagine if this team actually had a really good quarterback? And maybe one more dude on the boundary, how good this offense would be. This offense, in my opinion, is operating at probably 60% of its capacity.
Bring Kaepernick back, bro.
Yeah. What was I going to say? But yeah, I know they've lost, but I feel like I got to lean towards the team that has the better roster. And I got to lean towards the team. The second game was way closer. I got to lean towards the team that has the better quarterback, man. This shit'll be hilarious if San Francisco goes. I just don't think their roster is comparative to these other rosters. But I mean, we could be wrong.
The Rams Bucks game, it would have been a blowout, but the Rams turned the ball over. So if they can avoid turning the ball over, I don't see why not. I think Tampa's defense is better than the Niners defense.
And it wasn't
for sure.
Stafford. It wasn't like Stafford was blowing them away. Stafford was playing smooth, consistent. They were doing a lot of stuff. Again, I thought also Vita Vea and the guys up front kept that score to 20-3, and then Rams turnovers then allowed Tampa Bay to come back in that game. But yes, really, if the Rams kept playing the way they did, didn't turn the football over, that game would have got out of hand. So going into this game, the Rams could easily get on a roll and start rolling, San Francisco over. It's just, can they put the pedal to the metal and keep moving forward and put the points on the board?
And what do the Niners do if they make a couple mistakes and the Rams get up early? What's going to be the Niners' solution if they get down early in this game? Because guess what? The Niners can't go out there and just throw the pill all over the place without disguising it.
Garoppolo's thumb's hurt too, right?
Yeah.
Or his shoulder. He's banged up. I don't know.
I bet his cock's bent too.
Maybe they throw things out there.
Yeah, Todd, I know you get kicked out of that smirking over there.
Yo,
Yo, Kegan, I gotta ask you, what is that fucking thing on your wall back there? What is
Vacuum.
that? It's a vacuum?
Yeah.
Is it plugged into the wall?
But like the charging station.
Gotcha. Okay, that's some fucking futuristic shit. You probably, what is that, double as a gun? What is that thing?
Something like it's got Yeah, and it's got like the floor thing.
Okay, gotcha. Okay, my bad. That dude's gonna suck his floor up with that thing, dude. So you guys all like the Rams. I take it. Yes, no, maybe so.
I take Rams plus 10.
Yeah.
Okay, easy there. Yeah, I don't know. I like the Rams too. I think it'd be a close game, but I like the Rams this time around. I just think if the Rams click on all cylinders, dude, they're hard to beat, which Todd and I predicted early this year when the season started, the Rams are one of our picks to go to the Super Bowl. Let's hope when we were right and wrong, we can get that one right. Mm-hmm. We said Rams the Super Bowl. All right, so lay it on me thick, dude. Thoughts on the fucking Cincinnati and Kansas City game, Chad?
I mean, if KC plays like they did last week, I'm sorry. I hope your defense can contain Hill and all them. I am literally a Bengal. I'm cheering for the Bengals this week because I don't like KC anyways. I haven't liked them for the past couple years. But I think you guys.
He's muted.
I think that you guys, if you guys can limit what they're doing on offense, and that if they have a game like that, like they had last week, I'm sorry, I'm not sure if your offense can score like the Bills' offense can like that towards the end. I know Jamar Chase is a beast, but that offensive line worried me against Tennessee.
Yeah, but we ain't playing those guys.
Yeah, but Frank Clark, I mean,
fucking spare me, dude.
They got some good defensive weapons on that team. Yeah, right. You can't say
they've been trying to sell Frank Clark's contract the second he signed that shit, dude.
But I mean, isn't it Chris Jones right over there?
Yeah, he's really good. And they got who's the dude who played for the Chargers all the years? They got him too. They
got a good amount of people on their defensive line that the pressure didn't show against the Bills, but maybe they're just trying to contain Josh Allen. I'm not sure what they're trying to do. So I just worry about your offensive line. If your offensive line can stand up, you guys can score points. And you already beat them week 17, and they needed that win to get first seed. So I think you guys can do it. It all depends on what gameplay comes from both sides.
Tom?
Your offensive line is just at some point, like, we got to draw the line in the sand. I mean, it's just not good. He's hitting the ground too much. I do not think that this team defensively is better than Titans or anybody else left in the playoffs.
To be fair, we played two of the better pass rushing teams. We played the Titans, beat them. We played the Raiders, beat them. The Raiders came into that season having like the most pressures, and most of them were with two guys.
My thing is that the best two teams in this playoffs were probably constructed as the better rosters in this playoff, probably the Chiefs and the Bills. Whoever won that
Niners
is going to Niners. Whoever won that was probably they're going to be tough to stop in this round anyway. Whether it would have been the Bills here, obviously it's the Chiefs here. I don't have a lot of faith in the Chiefs defense, but I do have a lot of faith in the Chiefs offensive weapons. And they find a way, and Mahomes is if Mahomes, this is his fourth straight AFC championship game. So he's obviously doing something right. And he makes the plays. He made the plays against the Bills. Even got to the end of the game and made the plays. Again, I am rooting for the Bengals, but the way they were getting the ball to the playmakers, it's just in the end, it's tough to stop. And don't get me wrong, you guys played really good games against the Raiders and again last week, but those were close. Those ended up being close games. And again, any team that ran up against the Chiefs last week would have got rolled. It was because the Bills were able to match offensively what was going on. I think this is a Chiefs game to lose.
Well, if
I like the ride for the Bengals. Go ahead.
If the Chiefs cover Chase like they did Davis last week, I think it's going to be a high scoring game. Like you were saying, the Chiefs defense, they started out the season not too hot, and they turned it around. But they're
remember Diggs 4 catches, 7 yards.
Yeah.
So they took the actual option away.
Yeah. The defensive leader out there on that team, Adam's favorite guy, Tyrann Mathieu. I don't know.
Right?
Still questionable right now, yeah.
I would say you can thank Josh Allen for taking out 2 of the safeties by jumping over them.
But no, I think ultimately the Chiefs win this game. I want the Bengals to win, but what did Romo say last week? The AFC goes through Mahomes. It's gonna keep going through him, I think.
Yeah, I think we do get got. I will say that I think the game's gonna be close, just like it was last time, because when you look at how these teams match up, I like Tyrann Mathieu and shit, but where they're weak, in all levels that they're weak, we're super, super strong. And I would say we're not as weak in our weaker areas as they are. For example, you look at their corners, our cornerback personnel, way, way better than theirs. I mean, yeah, Chidobe Awuzie didn't have his best game last week, but Awuzie, from an actual grading standpoint, was the best AFC corner this year. We got Mike Hilton, who had like an 82 grade this year, making plays on the ball in the slot. The spots that are a weakness for us are similar to theirs, and I feel like they're weaker in those spots. I feel like we will do this weekend what we did to them last year. We're going to score. I guess it's just going to come down to like who the fuck scores more. I don't know. Running will be a factor too, because I do think we could run the football on these guys. I'd have to go back and look at stats. They're gonna have a hard time. They're gonna have a harder time running the ball on us than we are on them. I mean, our offensive line's trash, but we've been able to push the pill all over the place with Mixon.
Their leading rusher last week was Mahomes. So
right.
I
think we match up better than people think, but I just have a feeling. We'll play good and shit, but like they'll just, Mahomes will probably make enough plays to beat us. I have a feeling. Oh, look at the pop up.
How's your tackling?
What's that?
How's tackling been
for my team?
For you guys,
I don't know.
Yeah.
We played 2 of the better power backs last week, and we tackled the fuck out of them. Except for like Foreman, fucking had 4 rushes for 60 yards. That was probably just an outlier. But
I'm just trying to. I would just worry about even their McKinnon. He's quick, dude.
Yeah, our linebackers. Our linebackers going to have to keep making plays. Their offensive line's really good though, so the trenches it's gonna be wild. But the spots that everyone attacked last week are the spots that they're probably gonna attack again. Let's just see whose holds up. But and can Jackpot Joey get a little magic going this weekend, boys? What do you say, dude? I'll fucking cry if we make it to the Super Bowl. I'll be like, oh, you heard it here on the podcast. If the Bengals win the Super Bowl, I'm getting a Bengals tattoo. You guys will have to help me come up with concepts. I'm thinking like getting like a crown that says like Super Bowl whatever champs, and then like 2 tigers like grabbing the crown or something. That's happening. I've already been looking at all the tattoo artists around me to look and see who does work like that and shit. That's fucking. No. I'm gonna go in there and be like, listen, here's my ideas, here's my concepts. Draw me some shit up.
I got an idea that's gonna be perfect. Burrow riding the tiger with just a torch in his hand, like clear in the darkness. Yeah, just clear in the darkness.
Should I have a grown man tattooed on me though?
A grown man. No.
Yeah, no, I don't know if I'm gonna get another man tattooed on me.
You can make it just a guy in a jersey with like his numbers on it. You know, it doesn't be him.
Then you have another name tattooed on you, dude.
Say that.
Burrow for life.
But yeah, so I don't know. We'll see. I have a feel that Burrow will probably outduel us, or not Burrow. Mahomes will outduel us and shit, but we'll see what happens.
Mahomes hasn't been throwing downfield as much lately either. It's been more short passes.
My girl just actually goes, "Did I hear you talking about your tattoo?" Yep. She could hear me in the other room. I'm getting that tattoo. If we win the Super Bowl, you guys have no idea. I will get that shit within the first couple weeks. I just don't know where I want to put it. That's happening. The problem is I want to actually start a biomechanical sleeve, like some mutant like looking shit on my arm or some outer space shit. So I got to figure out where I want to get this tattoo. If it does, so it doesn't impede. Maybe I'll get it on my right arm. Just fucking get it right. Get fucking right there. Fucking like I'm probably on like maybe my
so
arm.
So when you do arm wrestling tournaments, it's right in your bicep there, and you're like,
dude, look at your arms, dude. When are you gonna come fucking arm wrestling? You fuck.
It's fat, dude. It jiggles.
Yeah, right. Fat. Flex.
It's fat.
Yeah. Dude, this dude worked out with me when we were kids. He could bench press like 300 pounds when he weighed like $140.
Dude, I haven't lifted a weight in literally almost 2 years right now.
Chad, I really believe that if you arm wrestled, we could get you really good fast. We could put you in a hook with your short, strong arms, dude. You'd be a fucking beast. The only problem is we'd have to get you a riser. You'd be hands down, like, even if you got, like, lost weight, you hands down would be the biggest small guy. Like, even if you weigh, like, how much do you weigh right now, if you don't mind?
I've been fluctuating like barely 200, like 190.
Gotcha. That's what I thought. So even if we can get you down to like 169, 170, which is like one of the weight classes, you would still be like the biggest jack short guy. You would have to go against dudes that are like my height. Like we'd have to get you a booster.
If I was in shape at 170, which I almost was in the military, I was like 155, 160, in good shape in the military, but I do want to get, like, I need to get the equipment from my mom's house. I just need to get a bench in my garage and something where I can do some squats on or something. Because I'm getting sick of not having time to go to the gym or lift weights. It's like, it makes me mad, but I know I don't have time to do it.
So well, you do, but, like, you don't got the stuff at your house?
No, I don't got space to put. If I had a better garage, which I want to build in the next couple of years, I would put a half rack in there with 1,000 pounds and a nice bar with like just a bench in there. So that I can do deadlifts, squats, everything I really want to in there. And that would keep me in shape enough. And then I could do like body workouts for the rest type of stuff. I mean, I could even do calves in there too, but my calves are pretty good anyway, so.
Right. But yeah, dude, so wild weekend of football. We got a wild weekend this weekend, and could we make it? Could we make it? Like, could we all be having this conversation next week? Talk about the Bengals, go to the Super Bowl, and then I get fucking
versus
tattooed.
49ers. That'd be the best.
God.
You'd want the 49ers between the Rams and 49ers. I'd take 49ers any day.
Dude, we won't hear the end of it. Speaking of that shit, Dude, I'm about to be like, we get it, Adam. Like, the Cowboys lost in the playoffs. Like, he literally sends us some stupid fucking meme in that chat every day. We're like, oh, wow, you predicted something right for once. Like, Jesus. And then if you send a Giants meme in there, he gets mad at you for sending a Giants meme in there when he's clearly attacking one team. You send a Giants meme in there, he's like, why does everyone attack my team? He starts freaking out. Oh, I don't know how Kegan fucking deals with that shit. He just fucking ignores it.
Evan, if you had a choice, since you're going to know who the AFC champion is before the NFC, who would you root for in that game if the Bengals won?
Who would I root for to play against?
Yeah. Who would you want to play against in the Super Bowl?
Oh, the Niners.
Okay. That's what I thought. That's what I wasn't sure your standpoint on the Rams.
Yeah, personnel-wise, we match up against them. I don't want to play against a more explosive team on both sides of the ball. Fuck no. But whatever. I mean, I'd like to play the Rams and beat them. Like, I'd like to beat the team that I think's the best team. So if the Rams win, fucking bring them on, dude. How wild would that be? Bengals-Rams, the Super Bowl. Or the Bengals and the Niners, the Super Bowl. But unfortunately, I have to go because I got shit I got to do before I go to bed because I'm working from home right now. Bullshit.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so long story short, I had
negative?
Yeah, I'm negative. I had contact with a family member, whatever, who tested positive, but then later on the test came back negative. So my work wants me to get retested just to be safe. They're being pretty cool about me being out, so I've been trying to work from home even though internet's fucked. I think they actually fixed it this time, hence we haven't had a drop the rest of the day. So I'm got to work from home tomorrow. I'm just putting in some data entry for some clients and shit. So we're here. So tomorrow I got to get up and run over to the mentor joint in town and get another test done. But after tomorrow, we're clear. I'm gonna go train and pull, probably Saturday and shit, and then I'll be in for the rest of the night. Side note. Spencer and I and Kyle this weekend, probably Saturday after I get back from the gym, probably we're going to do an episode on gaming, like what's going to be coming up with the video games and everything that's gone on, the past handful of games, what's on the horizon, talk about all that kind of shit. If you guys are interested, pop it in, talk about some gaming, let me know. My boy Kyle, my little brother and I are going to be talking about that hopefully tomorrow. So if you guys want to talk about what's going on, I'm going to pull up some stuff on like the new games are coming out. There's a lot of shit that's been going on in gaming lately, like fucking certain companies buying shit up. I mean, Microsoft's got to buy shit because they don't know how to create shit. That's how that goes. Microsoft's got to buy everything that got created by everyone else because they suck dick. But
Amazon Gaming is putting free PC games out there, so you can get Star Wars Fallen. You can get the full game for free if you have.
Have you played that yet? I want to play it, but the character looks so fucking corny that I can't bring myself to buy it. It was on sale for $8, and I was like, should I get it? But that character is so unbelievable.
Oh, plus they already put out an announcement that they're coming out with another Star Wars that'll be coming out pretty soon as a sequel to.
Well, they're doing a sequel to that, but also what really matters is Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic is getting remade.
Okay.
That's going to be the game. That's going to be the game. But yeah, I have an epic rant. Look at the doggy. I have an epic rant about Star Wars video games on one of the old episodes where for like 20 minutes I just go in and I'm like, Star Wars is this great universe. I go, they've made like what? I had a list. I'm like, 32 fucking Star Wars games. I'm like, 2 of them are good. I'm like screaming. I'm like, if someone makes another Star Wars game, I go, that sucks. I'm like, I'm going to drive my car through EA or LucasArts or whatever's fucking front door and all this shit. I was getting wicked mad. But like, I'm not the biggest fan of Star Wars, but from a video game standpoint, that is a universe full of content that you could make an amazing game with, and they fucking fuck it away all the time and make shit.
Well, Battlefront was good. Battlefront.
The early Battlefronts were good.
Horrendous.
The early Battlefronts were good.
The later ones were horrendous.
Yeah, the trash. They look cute and shit. I know someone thinks graphics is the only thing that matters, but
Right.
Gameplay sucks. Well, what are you smirking over down
a lot
there
of stuff
for,
to
Kegan?
unpack if you're going to do that on Saturday.
Yeah, dude, if you guys want to join in, I know you guys got
I'm down.
you and Kegan are similar. We're like, you and Kegan are like both like TMZ. You guys always have like these weird little deets you guys pull out. You're like, I don't know, so and so was doing this, and that. I'm like, where do you guys find this shit? Especially Anton. Anton can tell you what Andrew Luck's like eating for fucking dinner tonight. That's how good Anton. Anton will tell you what boosters were giving dudes money back in the day. I'm not gonna name any names.
Well, there is some hot takes on video game stuff that's coming out, but I did have that they just released that they're gonna put out a Star Wars game that's following Fallen as a sequel, and that
gotcha.
They didn't say the timing, but it sounded like it would be out. It'd be out soon, like within 6 months or 8 months.
Gotcha.
So they already got something to work with. But that's why Amazon Gaming put out. But it's not only that. They got World War Z Afterlife on there. That's a free full game. They've got The Fallen. That's a free full game. So they got quite a few games on there. If you already have an Amazon Prime account, you can already create Amazon Gaming, and you could pick those games up, but it's all for PC.
We need to scour and find a new co-op game that we could all play together that I could stream. Something that takes like teamwork and shit. We need
you know which one we would try to look at.
Back 4 Blood.
They want to hold that for $60.
Yeah, it's not worth $60.
No.
If Back 4 Blood gets on sale, we should all grab it. I wonder if I can get the PS4 version.
Okay.
But let me know if you guys are interested. I don't know what you guys' schedule is like this weekend. I know, Anton, you're going to be at fucking work Saturday.
I'm going to be at work, but I'm going to be here in town. So, yes, I could jump. I will definitely jump in.
I'm sure Kegan will be doing schoolwork or whatnot. Chad, you'll be home. I'll be in touch. I'll be in touch with all you guys for Saturday. We can get in there and chop it up about the video games. I'm going to write some stuff down. Talk about some games, because there's some games I'm super interested that are coming out in the future, hopefully. Maybe talk about the football horizons are going to be changing. There's going to be 2 new football titles coming out. We can talk about that.
Okay.
So
little 2K.
A little college football. Listen, we have to get on that shit when those 2 come out, especially college football. Dude, we can do like franchises together, shit, dynasty mode. Come on, man.
If they haven't changed it and to try to do it something with fucking Madden, then yeah, dude, it's gonna be good.
Imagine online dynasty together.
NCAA 14, like that was like the perfect game. If they just redid that
with new graphics and shit. Oh yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, that's all they would have to do. I hope they're paying attention, and we can talk about it more if you guys want to talk about it Saturday. But pay attention to what the diehards in the franchise community and the guys that really love the gameplay. We want the depth. I hope they're paying attention, because if 2K and then whoever does a college game can come out, push the envelope, man, ain't gonna have no choice but start giving us some of the shit we want instead of selling us short, dude. That's why competition is great. But unfortunately, I got a dip. Chad, great having you on. Got anything to say in closing?
No. Go Bengals. Beat the shit out of those dang. I hate the Chiefs, so they gotta get that win.
Anton,
enjoy the games this weekend. I will be around for that gaming chat, so count this guy.
Yeah, Todd's gonna be like, they're coming out with some random game. I'm trying to play that. Kegan, pleasure having you on. Second time on. How are you liking this, Rube? How you having fun with this?
This is cool. It's a cool way to have a little discussion about it. Yeah.
It's sweet.
Yeah. Y'all have a good rest of your night and a good weekend. I don't know if I'll be able to get on that game and chat, but I'll see. I've got some schoolwork.
Yeah, get that schoolwork done. That's more important. But you let me know. Obviously, it's set up so you guys will all be able to hop in here. So, and whenever I do one where, like, I'm only going to, like, for example, I plan on having my buddies on from my arm wrestling team. Like, I'll let you guys know if I'm going to do one, like say if I'm only going to do one with Chad, or say if I'm only doing with Anton, or only one with Kegan, or if I'm going to do one like the arm wrestling team, or I have a special guest on, I'll let you guys know like to not hop in it. You know what I'm saying? But other than that, like the video game chat one, hop in. If it's live and you see that it's live, hop in. We all game. So I feel in closing, I feel like there might be an opportunity to have a new little wave here to make video games great again. Hopefully, I can feel it. I feel something that if some of these companies can bust out some titles here soon, like I'll be honest with you guys, I'll have a conversation about it Saturday. I'm getting bored of video games. I really am, and if these companies don't start, find myself really not playing all that much anymore. If these companies don't start pumping out some new games, something original, interesting, or make the games we like better, then, you know, it's just video games are probably going to go by the wayside for me eventually. But yeah, so this is the Keep It G-Real podcast. Love you guys. Thanks for coming on. We're out. Later.
Later.
Peace.